Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this show. Listen, uh, it's my job to report to you guys, and if something is distasteful to me, or it's something I don't like, still I should report it to you guys the way I see it and my possible viewpoint on something, And there's something here that I've been worried about for a while now, but I haven't really said anything about it, and it's this COVID-19 disease. I've known for a while now that I think they're far underestimating the numbers of people in the earth that actually have it. I think it's extremely contagious. The World Health Organization has finally come out. Okay, when this disease first started, the World Health Organization, what did they say? They said, oh, don't worry. This disease can only be passed from animal to human, not from human to human. And they said that for a long time before finally they admitted, yes, it can be passed from human to human. And then later they said, well, it's not really a pandemic, and they delayed declaring it a pandemic. They even delayed declaring it a health emergency. They've always been behind the ball on this thing. They were not proactive. They went to great extent to praise how China handled the outbreak. Well, in my mind, in my estimation, if China had done a really good job of handling the outbreak, we wouldn't have it all over the earth. I mean, that's just my way of thinking, okay? But anyway, regardless of that, it's done now. The genie's out of the bag, and it's spreading around the earth. Now, I think, personally, that there's an awful lot more people that have it don't even know they have it. The World Health Organization now has admitted that it might be airborne. I think that's been a foregone conclusion all the way through. When we take a look at charts and things that I've looked at, where it shows how the distances people have caught it from other people that had little or no contact with the other person, only they went into a room where the other person was. Like, I've seen several pictures of different restaurants, and also a picture of a stadium where they were in there singing and stuff, and people rows and rows of rows away that never had contact with the person that had it come down with it. So I think it's pretty conclusive. There's pretty conclusive evidence there that it's airborne. Now, what airborne actually means is in an enclosed space where the air, like when you're outdoors, the wind's blowing and stuff, it tends to blow it away, But if you're in an enclosed space, you can actually catch it off of the air. You don't actually have to touch a person's saliva or touch the virus itself. The virus particles can actually be in the air, and you can breathe them down into your lungs and come down with this thing. So it's extremely contagious, and they've already know that a lot of people that catch it don't display any symptoms. They don't feel ill. They don't know a lot of people probably don't know that they have it. Now, so for each person that's been out there and got tested, and it's been conclusive that they have it, there might be many people that don't get tested, who have it and have no symptoms, or if they do have symptoms, they might think they have the flu, or they might think they have a head cold, where it's really COVID. This is a problem because it might be far more widespread than anybody could ever admit or know. And, they've done tests of people in Florida, and they found that 33% of the population proved conclusive. I think it was in Florida. Anyway, a lot of people do have it, and it's coming up positive on the tests. But I have a question here. Now, what these tests do is they test the virus particles in your system, and the tests prove conclusive if you have a certain percentage of virus particles in your system. What about people that might have it and the tests still come back negative because they have such a low viral load in their system? Maybe a far more percentage of the population actually has it, but they got too low a virus load to actually trigger the test. So they go in and they take the test, and the test says negative, you don't have it. But actually, in truth, they do have it. It's just that they have a very, very, very low viral load, not enough to trigger the test. Okay? I'm thinking that that's a distinct possibility. And that those people that have low viral loads are the people that are asymptomatic and they exhibit no symptoms. They're probably not contagious to a great degree. You probably have to go up and kiss them on the lips to catch it off of them because they got such a low viral load. They're probably not real spreaders, you know. But, okay, looking at this, what I just talked about, the population might be far, far more people actually have it than know they have it in the population. And so one of the things that has been problematic to me and troubling me for a long time is we don't know anything about this disease. Could you have this disease, have it in an asymptomatic way, don't know you even have it, and it be doing some sort of damage to your body that you're completely unaware of? This is my thought. And that maybe 6 months from now or a year from now, this will start to become manifest. And not in a small way. Perhaps a third of the world's population or half of the world's population will start to come down with some unknown, what they call a syndrome, something that is completely strange, you know? Gosh knows what it might be. But off of the top of my head, I'm thinking about things like chronic fatigue, where perhaps a year from now, the people that have it in an asymptomatic way and feel fine, all of a sudden start to get so tired they can't even get out of bed. Chronic fatigue is called. And I mean, those people would become unproductive to society. They would need to be cared for. And what if it's a percentage of the population that would be, I mean, it could be 100 million of them, 200 million of them. Or what if it's something different? What if some sort of muscle pains or something comes down a year from now or 6 months from now? We don't know what this disease is doing to the human body. It hasn't been studied yet what it's doing to the human body. But there's an article. I want to open up the charts right here and I want you to take a look at this. Now, I know this shows the doctors right now are saying extremely worrying. Nearly 90% of the discharged COVID-19 patients have symptoms still 2 months after falling ill. An Italian study tracking discharged coronavirus patients revealed that nearly 90% of them, of the 143 people tested, still have symptoms 2 months after falling ill. Almost half reported worsening quality of life compared to before when they were struck with the virus. And the experts are describing this as extremely worrying. Look at the symptoms they can have. Fatigue, shortness of breath, joint pain, chest pain, cough, loss of smell, dry eyes and mouth, nose inflammation, red eyes, loss of taste, headaches, sputum production, lack of appetite, sore throat, vertigo, muscle pain, and diarrhea. This is what they get from this thing. Does that sound like a person that's going to be productive for society? A person that's going around with fatigue, shortness of breath, joint pain, chest pain, coughs, can't smell anything. He's got dry eyes and mouth, nose inflammation, red eyes, loss of taste, headaches, and lack of appetite. Does that sound like a person that's going to be on a construction job and going to be able to build a house real quick? Or work on a farm digging vegetables all day? No, that sounds like a person that's going to be in bed. And what if this thing is far more widespread? We've never dealt with anything like this before. There's never been a virus on Earth like this before. And I think there's a reason for that. Because all of the viruses we've dealt with all the way through history, even in the 1918 pandemic, were viruses that were created and manufactured by Mother Nature. We've never dealt with anything like this before. We've never seen anything like this before. And we don't know what persistent side effects it's going to carry with it. And we don't know for how long these side effects are going to last and when these side effects are actually going to trigger and come into place to create worsening quality of life or even kill a lot of the people. Perhaps they'll even start dying. There might be some sort of a thing that maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, all of a sudden some of these people that have had COVID just might start keeling over. Because this disease it's a blood disease. It's not like your ordinary flu or whatever. And we saw that in China. We saw it in Iran when Iran first started to get a heavy amount of cases of it. And when China got a heavy amount of cases of it, we saw people just dropping. They just standing up in the street, and all of a sudden they just fall over. And this is a very strange disease, but why it can cause these things is it can cause blood embolisms, bleeds, that clots. It can cause blood clots. And if you guys know about the circulatory system, if you get a clot, what happens is the blood can't get through. You get a clot on the way to the brain, you've got a stroke, and the brain starts to die, and then the person starts to die thereafter. Their face will droop, and they got to get into the hospital quick. It can cause a clot on the way to the heart, and the big arteries leading to the heart. This disease can cause this to happen. So we might actually see things. My question is, are we going to get through this thing? Perhaps without the help of medical science, and this thing just disappear? Or is this thing going to stay around and keep haunting mankind and lowering world productivity to the point where we cannot support 8 billion people anymore? Because if this thing spreads wide enough and far enough, and there's enough afterwards, post-COVID after symptoms, then it's going to lower world productivity to the point where we cannot support 8 billion people. Maybe we can only support 6 billion. Or maybe we can only support 4 billion. If this thing gets bad enough and gets us to the point where we can only support 4 billion people, then COVID-19 will have eliminated 4 billion people. Because if you cannot support 8 billion people, what happens to them? You can't support them. It's just as simple as that. The world is finite. We're living under this, basically a bubble, sealed in like an ecosphere. And now we've got this criminally insane disease running around attacking people that seems to be unstoppable because it's got such a high R-naught value. I read a study early on about this disease from the Los Alamos National Laboratories, which is a very prestigious national laboratories, and they did a study on it, and they said it had an R value that was I'm just going to say off the scales, the R value. In other words, the thing, if left to its own devices in a matter of months, could infect every single person on Earth. But we have went through different processes of social distancing and wearing face masks and everything, and that brings the R-naught value down. The goal is to bring the R-naught value under 1, and then the disease starts to disappear. But with a disease that's this contagious, it's extremely, extremely hard to bring the R-naught value down under 1. You have to take almost drastic measures, like they took in China, basically locking every single person inside their homes, not letting them come out. So we got a problem here, a huge problem with this COVID-19. Anybody out there, right now at this point who says this isn't real, it's real. It's affecting a lot of people's lives. It's getting worse. Medical science right now is probably our biggest hope. Really, in my estimation, they need to put everything they got behind this and try to find a cure for it. But it's going to be difficult because This is the same sort of virus that causes the common head cold, and they've never found a cure for the common head cold. You know? So this is difficult. This is not easy. Anyway, listen, I hope I didn't frighten you guys too much in this particular episode. But it's truth and it's news and it's what's going on, you know? And we have to face the truth at a certain point, and that's the way we can mount a defense against the attacking invader, which is this virus. Thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.